G'day fellas, and welcome to an exciting video where we get to talk about the best variant civilization that there is, the Order of the Dragon. The Order of the Dragon is a variant civ for the Holy Roman Empire, and they are, in my opinion, the best variant civilization. I love the design of this civ. Let's get down into it. Although more expensive than other civilizations, the soldiers of the Order of the Dragon stand without equal. Playing the Order of the Dragon means commanding a small, elite force that is not to be underestimated. Equipped with superior armor, weaponry, and training, the Order of the Dragon's military lives longer, hits harder, and attacks from greater range than their counterparts. Each unit has specific traits that enhance its capabilities, allowing players to employ a variety of powerful military compositions and counters to thwart their enemies. A focus on quality carries over into the Order of the Dragon's economy. Villages are more expensive, but hardier, gather faster, and construct buildings more quickly. Alright, so that is your brief overview of the civilization. We get some huge information in there. First and foremost, villages. This takes me back to Age of Empires 3, the French, where you had villages that were more expensive, but they were much better. They were faster at gathering, and they were hardier. That's exactly what we've got here for the Order of the Dragon. On top of that, their units are much stronger than units of a normal civilization. So let's get into it. Some of the units that we can talk about. Number one, the Gilded Archer. The Gilded Archer is a highly skilled bowman, able to attack from a greater range with incredible speed. This is wild. These two things are crazy because this is what makes the Archer so powerful. Its range together with speed, because it enables you to kite. So if you've got a unit that's got even longer range and now it's even faster, that means it's going to be harder to catch. It means it's going to do more damage. And in the hands of someone who's competent, it is going to absolutely decimate the battlefield. Number two, the Gilded Landsknecht. The Gilded Landsknecht is an imposing light infantry unit possessing a devastating sweep attack capable of erasing entire armies in seconds. Think your normal Landsknecht, but just does more damage. That's essentially what's happening here. It's pretty damn strong. And then finally, the Gilded Knight. Gilded Knights are powerful, heavy cavalry clad in resplendent armor, enabling superior survivability. So there you go. Those are the three units that they've given us at a glance. Let's take a look and see what they've said about the Order of the Dragon through the ages. So from Age 1, the Order of the Dragon centers its economy around the Gilded Villager, an expensive villager that collects resources more efficiently and constructs buildings faster. Doesn't really tell us anything that we didn't already know from that initial bit of information. Age 2. In Age 2, the Order of the Dragon gains access to many powerful units, including the Gilded Spearman, an exceptional anti-cavalry unit capable of dealing area of effect damage to buildings after researching its unique technology. That is correct. We've now got AoE siege, not in the form of a mangonel, but in the form of a spearman. That is correct. Age number 3. In Age 3, the Gilded Crossbowman becomes available to the Order of the Dragon. This elite crossbow unit possesses greater range and even higher bonus damage against heavy units than a normal crossbow. So now you're really building out the whole suite of gilded units here. Gilded Archer, Gilded Crossbowman, Gilded Landsknecht, Gilded Spearman. We've got the Gilded Knight. They haven't mentioned a Gilded Men-at-Arms. They haven't mentioned a Gilded Horseman. So I wouldn't be able to talk about them if they did exist. But we'll have to wait and see what they say for Age 4. In Age 4, the Order of the Dragon may research the Gilded Warhorses technology, allowing Gilded Knights to take significantly less damage when performing devastating charge attacks. So there you go. That is it for your units. Now let's talk about how this civilization plays, because this civilization is just, in my opinion, this is such a fun civilization to play because there is so much skill expression here. What's skill expression? Skill expression is your ability to translate your skill into a tangible benefit. Before we get on to the second part of the video, just a little bit about the lore of this civilization that the devs have told us. The Order of the Dragon is inspired by the chivalric order founded by Sigismund of Luxembourg in 1408, who later became the Holy Roman Emperor from 1433 to 1437. So I know there were a couple of people saying, hey, they should be Teutons and all that kind of stuff. There you go. That's why they're called the Order of the Dragon, because they've got dragons that breathe fire. Wait, no, that is the wrong game. Okay. All right, well, welcome to the second part of the video. We take a look at their flag to start with, and it's a pretty standard Holy Roman Empire flag. They just swapped out the middle decal and put in a dragon. It's still pretty cool, though. I'll give them that. Not as cool as the Empire of the Jade, rest in peace, aka the Juicy Legacy. Anyway, we move on to the next picture, which is going to be the key art. Nice looking key art here. See that crest of the Holy Roman Empire, interestingly, on the chest of our knight in the front here. And we move on to the first screenshot, which is going to be a Dark Age base for the Order of the Dragon. 8 farms around a mill, a couple of houses, and a couple of villages, as well as a scout. One thing to note, we don't see the barracks here with the Gilded Spearmen, so I can't remember whether they've got access to them in the Dark Age, and even if I did remember that, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And we also don't see a prelate, which is interesting to note here, considering it is in the Dark Age. Let's move on to the next screenshot, though, which is going to be, we see the Archon Chapel growing some pink flowers because there's no farms around it. We also see some of those Gilded Spearmen, as well as the Horsemen and the Gilded Archer, a single Gilded Archer down there with his bow. One thing to note with these units is they are physically very big. Like, these guys are big. They are distinguished compared to everything else that stands next to them on the field. So that is one thing to note. They will look very big in these screenshots, and that is because they are. Next up, we've got the Gilded Archer. This is probably the unit that I think is going to be the most controversial, and I think may be the most difficult to balance. And the reason why is just simply because of the attributes they've given it. I think if there is any unit that is going to be a balancing nightmare for the devs, it's going to be this unit because of the skill expression associated with it. The problem is you have to make this unit decent at a low level without making it insane at a high level. And the problem is that with the movement speed that it's got coupled with the range, I'm fearful that you're just going to be able to kite for days. And I really wouldn't be surprised to see Order of the Dragon players literally just going for mass Gilded Archers. I genuinely don't. I genuinely think this might be a possibility that they will do that. I don't know what the response is going to be. You can try for Horsemen, but remember, they've got faster movement speed. They've got longer range, which means they're shooting you from further away. They're running away further. It's like a longbow that's got steroids. It's wild. So I don't know how they're going to manage to balance it. It's going to be a headache, I'll say that much. On the back there, we do see the men-at-arms towards that top side of the picture as well, so we know that they've got the men-at-arms. And can I just remark on how good these units look? I tell you right now, I'm going to be a Byzantine main, but there's a really good chance I'm going to be an Order of the Dragon main as well, because these units just look so damn good. It is such an aesthetic civilization, as you would expect from Giga Chads like these guys. Anyway, we move on to the next image, where we've got the Gilded Knight. Now, keep in mind, the Gilded Knight, if I remember correctly, the dev said that he is tank. Let's read what they said. They said that he is clad in resplendent armor, enabling superior survivability. So we know that he's got superior survivability, so more health, more armor. And then on top of that, he's also got access to that unique technology in the Imperial Age, the Gilded Warhorse technology, which allows him to take significantly less damage when performing his charge attack. So that is pretty cool to note. Really cool looking armor as well. I gotta say, they are by far the coolest looking units in the game. Don't even think about adding me. It is not happening. It's objective. It's not an opinion. It's objective. These are the coolest looking units in the game. Full stop. The question is, are the devs going to ever be able to one-up this? Like, I just don't think you can. They're so damn good looking. Anyway, next, and I think, do we have is this the Wonder? Or is this the Elsbach? I'm not sure what we've got right here in the foreground. We're very, very close to something imperially, though. I'll say that much. It could be, is this the Flensburg? It could be the Wonder. We'll have to wait and see. All right. And then we've got some lunch connected. Aren't they so damn regal? Look at all that gold that they've got going on right there. I tell you what, if you couldn't see these little sleeves that they've got, you'd be thinking this player was yellow. There is so much gold here. These guys, just a normal lance connect. The dev said that, you know, it's basically a lance connect. It's just got a slightly sharper sword. Does a little bit more damage. That's essentially it. And we move on to the next screenshot now, where we get a look at some of those Gilded Crossbowmen. Remember that the Gilded Crossbowmen do have greater range, and they also have higher bonus damage against heavy units than a normal crossbow. I never once built a crossbow and was like, you know what, I wish these kind of had more damage against heavy units. Not once did I ever wish that. But if you wished that, well, congratulations, you've now got a unit that you can make, and it's the Gilded Crossbow. We also see the Regnitz Cathedral here. So one of the themes that we have seen already is that there is this, there's the Aachen Chapel. There's the Regnitz Cathedral. So we're seeing a lot of the same landmarks throughout the Order of the Dragon. And then finally, we see an Imperial Age picture and we know it's Imperial Age because of the gold tips on the spearmen. And look at that gold armor. Oh god, this civilization looks so good, dude. I tell you what. We have got the Elite Horsemen upgrade. The Elite Knights have been upgraded. The houses have got these cool little things on the roofs. What more could you want? And that is definitely the Elsbach Palace right there in front of us. And then, what a beautiful screenshot. Take a look at that. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's dissect it. I'm not going to critique the base building too much because this is not a competitively built base. Do note the Aachen Chapel placement here. We could talk about this a little bit, but I'm just going to leave it right there. There is a distinct lack of farms around this Aachen Chapel. What have we got here? So we've got the Elsbach Palace. Elsbach Palace? Sorry, the Palace of Swabia. I don't know why I said Elsbach. The Palace of Swabia. We've got the Flensburg. Is it the Flensburg Castle? The Wonder. So it's all the same. Aachen Chapel. And do we have a Regnitz here? No, we've got a mine work. No, that's not a mine work. That is a Burgrave. All right, so we've got a Burgrave. So we've ticked off for the wonder or for the landmarks. We've ticked off 5 of the 6. We are missing the mine work though, so they haven't shown the mine work yet. Now I haven't gone through. I don't think all the screenshots. No, I have that. That is the last screenshot. So this is it. So we haven't seen a mine work yet. So there might be a different landmark in there. We can't say for certain. Let's take a look. I want to see if we can spot a prelate here, because one of the things to note is that on that Dark Age screenshot, we didn't spot a prelate. So I'm fearful that the devs are always intentional with what they do, and I suspect they wouldn't leave that out. But that's one thing to note. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. All right, well, that's one thing. But overall, there's nothing like this. Realistically, could just be a Holy Roman Empire base. It very much could be. There's not huge differences in that regard. The main difference obviously just comes in from the units. It comes in from the better villages. And I think this civilization is probably going to be the most popular variant civilization. If I had to guess the civilizations, like the play rates of the new civilizations, it would be number 1 would be the Japanese, number 2 will be the Byzantines, number 3 will be the Order of the Dragon. I do think that. And then if I had to guess the last 3, it would probably be the Joan of Arc, and then the Sultans, the Abbasid one, the Abids, and then it would be after that the Chinese one. The Juicy Legacy. I don't think the Juicy Legacy is going to be very popular for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that's just like my internal bias coming out as well, and like putting it onto the community. But that's just kind of the way I feel. Just mainly because I still don't like the way that they start with the Imperial official at the start. But let's talk a little bit about this, because at the moment, obviously, when it comes to this screenshot, there's not a whole lot to talk about. But I do want to talk about the implications of some of these units, and I think the most important one is going to be that archer. We've talked about it before, and just to explain it a little bit more, skill expression. We talked about it in the first part. Let's focus in on that. So the ability to create a tangible benefit based on your skill. So if you just leave all your units standing still and you don't touch them, what's going to happen versus what happens if you micro each of them individually, like Marine Lord does, and you know you are crafting this beautiful concave. That's the question, and the answer is that this civilization rewards that incredibly. So I'm very scared about this in the hands of somebody like Marine Lord, like Lucifron, people who have got a big focus on that micro, that minutia of individual unit control. When I think of like Beastie, I'm thinking more large scale, more macro, more strategy focused. That's Beastie. Obviously his micro is still incredible, but when it comes to this civilization, I feel like finding those little battles, especially at the beginning of the game, are going to be so impactful with units like the Gilded Archer. So I wouldn't be surprised if this civ is just 100% Knights Archers, and it is just going to be a pleasure to be able to watch. I can say that much. One of the other things to note is that we've got all the same landmarks again. So this is reminiscent of the French. One thing that we don't know is whether these landmarks are going to be working the same, because with the French, if I remember correctly, all the landmarks were working the same. We've got the Burgrave here, we've got the Regnitz, everything that you'd expect from a Holy Roman Empire base. So hopefully we see the mine work return. Who knows, maybe the Archon Chapel will actually have a contender. But we'll leave it there in this video. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you think I missed anything, make sure you let me know. And of course, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.